It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.
Hey folks, welcome back to my shop, and we are doing shop work tonight. Tonight's video is for my resin people that I haven't really been doing a lot of resin videos because, like I said before, I feel like I've showed you everything I know. And, you know, I'm not an expert, not in any way, shape, or form, but I am frugal and I am cheap. So I try to do all this stuff as cheap as possible. Tonight I have to make a mold. I was using one of my old molds to make this little tiny piece here, which is a action figure stand, actually. Action figure stand, you might be wondering what's an action figure stand. An action figure stand is a stand that you put little action figures on. And they can be used for any of your castings. If you're making little characters and stuff, you want to give them a little stand to put them on. That's what an action figure stand is. But anyway, it's one of the simpler molds. And most of the molds I've showed you up until now are two-part mold, like this one here. This is made out of white silicone. It's another action figure, and it opens up. Well, I have it rubber band closed right now, but it opens up like a book, like this. So you fill it from the top, and if you're doing resin work, you know what I'm talking about. You fill it from the top, get the air bubbles out, and then you set it aside, and 15-20 minutes later, you have your action figure. Now you'll notice there's two different kinds of molds in my hand. This is my reusable molding compound that I've done a video about quite a while ago. And I love this because you use it and you can, after it doesn't work anymore, you can melt it in a microwave and reuse it, make a new mold. So it saves a lot of money. This is silicone now. This is the, I don't remember what brand this particular one is, but it basically, this mold costs $25 to make, and you can use it until it wears out. I get about maybe anywhere from 30 to 50 castings out of this type of molding compound, which incidentally we are going to be working with this type of mold tonight. So I'll show you what the brand is and everything here in a minute. This one, like I said, I'm thinking about doing a new video to make, because I need to make a new batch and show you. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. If I don't have any interest, then I'm not going to bother redoing it. But if you want to see it, go back into my profile here on YouTube, click on playlist, and there's a Resin Casting 101, and the video's there. But this is really good stuff. The only bad thing about this, and it's not a bad thing, this only works for clear resin that you let cure overnight. So whether it's Amazing Clear Cast or any kind of clear resin that lasts overnight. If you put white resin in here, the kind that dries in 15 minutes, that heats up too much, you're not going to get a good casting. It just simply won't work. But if you're into the clear casting, hey, you got to check this out. Anyway, back to the white silicone, which is what we're going to work with tonight to make these little pieces parts here. This is a different kind of mold that I haven't shown you before. It's a very simple mold. I probably should have shown you this like the very first video I ever did. Doesn't have to be a two-part mold. Now let me show you what we're going to do. Notice I'm using the old school camera like I did whenever I first started doing a resin casting, so you could get back into it and not have anything weird happen. But I do have much better audio as compared to what I used to have. And that shows in a video that you guys really liked. It was a pressure pot video, how to make a pressure pot at home out of a bucket. And that's one of my most successful videos. And I do plan on redoing that video in the near future because I've learned a lot over the past 3 years, and I have it working better. And I want to share that with you guys. But anyway, today we're just talking about making these things here. And this is what they look like. Here's a close-up view of it. You see, it's very simple with just a disc with a little peg on it. So when you put your action figure on a shelf or something, anything you might be making, and it's, it pops right out. You see it has a little peg there. Drill a hole in the bottom of whatever your figure, casting, whatever you're into. And then, put that in there, and then it'll stand up and not fall over, which is what we're doing. It's one of the simplest things I've done. And I can't believe I haven't shown you guys yet. Now, the first thing I did was I just grabbed a container. In this case, it's just a piece of, it's an old plastic bowl I had sitting around. And I took 4 of the originals. They're clear, so it might be hard to see on camera, but they look like this, but they're clear. and I hot glued them to the bottom of the container. We don't have to make a two-part mold. This is just going to be one mold, and that's kind of why it's so easy. And like I said, I hot glued them on there. I'm going to let them dry, and we're going to use this two-part silicone, liquid silicone, what's it called? Decorum. Excuse me, I have the hiccups again. Decorum. And I found this on Amazon. I find it to be a very good molding compound. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. If you don't know what that means, it means 1 part A, 1 part B. There's 2 bottles. 1 part A, 1 part B. Mix it equally and pour your mold. And that's what we're going to do right now. Now, I could do this by weight, or I could do this by volume. It doesn't matter. These 2 particular bottles are even with what's left. It's the end of my bottle, so it's even. So I know there's an equal amount in this one and an equal amount in this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in this cup. You know what? No, let's get technical. I will weigh it. I will weigh it out just to be professional and show you guys what it's like. Now, here's another thing. Here's my scale. When you get down to the end of your silicone and you're not sure what you have, but you have to make a mold, look at your bottles and pick the one that has the least in it. The least amount, especially if you're weighing it out like we're about to do. And I'm going to put my cup on there. I'm going to zero out my scale. I'm going to look at the one that I think has the least. These are both actually equal. So let's just assume this one is the least one. This is part A. I'm going to take my lid off. And I want to pour this into the cup. I'm going to pour it all in because for this particular mold, I want all of what I have left. I'm using up an old bottle. I'll fast forward through this. There's a late night text message. Okay, I'm noticing the cup that I picked is actually a little too small for what's left in these bottles. So I poured it out to 2 ounces exactly, as you can see. This is 2 ounces, right? Yeah, 2 ounces exactly. I still have more left in this bottle. That's okay. I'll use that later for something else. But I know that if I pour more in there, it's going to overflow my cup. So after my 2 ounces there, I'm going to zero out my scale again. And I'm going to take part B and pour it until it goes up to 2 ounces. I'll fast forward through this real quick because it's pouring kind of slow. There we go. Another 2 ounces of part B. So now that's even. The only thing I don't like about this brand is it's white. Both parts are white. Other brands have 2 different colors, so you mix it until you get a certain shade of purple. I don't get this with this one. It's white. So I'm going to mix this for about 2 minutes very carefully and make sure I get them mixed up as good as I can. Now I use 2 popsicle sticks to do this now. Stirring sticks, whatever you want to call them. This particular mold, I'm not much worried about air bubbles. As you'll see why as I pour it. The air bubbles will come up, and we're pouring this mold upside down like we pour most molds. And so the air bubbles for this particular project aren't going to hurt us. This compound also has about a 20-minute pot life too, so I've got plenty of time to sit here and make sure it's mixed properly. I always worry when I use this that I'm not going to mix it enough, so I'm not going to hurry. I'll fast forward to the mixing process now. Now I've been mixing this for about 3 minutes. I fast forwarded through it for the video. And I'm pretty sure that it's combined really well. I scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, up and down, slowly, not like ridiculously fast. The reason I'm using 2 sticks in there is it just gets more surface area and it does a better job mixing. Now I'm convinced that is actually mixed very well. If I leave it sit here, you'll see some air bubbles come to the top. So I'm going to leave this sit for 5 minutes and then we're going to pour it. Okay, I've skipped through about 5 minutes, and if you can see on the camera, I hope it's showing up, some of the air bubbles have surfaced to the top. If I was doing a 2-part mold, it's a lot more difficult to do. I would worry more about the air bubbles, but right now I'm not. I could put this in a vacuum chamber, which I have a vacuum chamber, but I don't use it very much. With this type of mold, however, as you can see, my masters are on the bottom. And the bottom of those, like here's the pegs, the bottom of those are going to be exposed. So, well, let's pour it. I like to do a high pour. That does minimize the air bubbles in it. I actually made too much molding compound. It's not all going to fit in there, but that's okay. It's going to make me a nice mold. I usually have something sitting around on the side that I can take care of for just such an emergency, but I don't have one set up. Now, you'll see it's set out nice and flat. This particular molding compound takes about 6 hours to cure. So when I wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be ready to go. And then I can start making my product out of it. I'm just going to take it out. I'm not going to show you. I'm just going to end the video quick because it's probably long and drawn out because I talk a lot. I'm just going to take the mold out, turn it upside down, and this is what I'm going to see. I'm going to fill it with my white resin, make some more stands. It's one of the most basic, simple molds you could make. But I thought it might be useful to you guys because I know the holiday, I call them holiday hobbyists, and there's nothing wrong with that. The holiday hobbyists are starting to do things. Another thing you could do with this, instead of making these stands that I showed you, is you could make pendants or, you know, little trinkets that are only two-dimensional, where they have a flat background. You don't need a two-part mold for that at all. You could just do it like this. So let's say you want to make, I don't know, a Christmas tree, like a cookie-looking thing, and paint it and make a necklace out of it, or a Christmas ornament. You don't have to do a two-part mold. You can just do a simple mold like this. Flip it over, then we'll put our resin in. This is great. You can use white resin in this. You can use clear resin. Any resin you can get at the hobby store, whatever you're using. I make both of these. This happens to be one of the white ones. The white ones dry in about 10-15 minutes, depending on what brand you're using. The clear resin ones that I use, you know, they let that about overnight. But I always have spare resin when I'm pouring a mold like this guy. I always have a little bit left over. So I try to keep these molds on the side to pour the, you know, just pour the excess resin in, and it, they add up. They add up. I've got about 250 of these. I with my channel on eBay, Jenner Custom Toys, I give these away with the action figures that I make and other things that need it. So, but yeah, it's very simple. I thought I'd just do a quick video tonight, get back into practice teaching y'all what I know. Which, believe me, I'm not an expert, and I know I don't know everything. But this is so simple, I thought it'd be useful for you in the next few months coming up on Christmas. So, I hope you liked it. And like I said, when this dries, I'll take it out, turn it upside down. It's ready to use. Pour my resin in there. No problem. Hey, leave me a comment. Any questions? I know I breezed through this a little quick because it's simple. And I'll catch you later. Pressure pot videos coming up. Any questions? Ask me. Bye.
It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.